think Jesus talks a lot about vulnerability, and for some reason, we're very resistant in our human nature to vulnerability. So this anger, this anxiety, it's like we're afraid to talk about the fact that we're afraid. Sometimes you just need a listener who's willing to sit and listen to these things you're feeling. But I also encourage clients to, and they hate this, but to write it out. And there is power in writing it out versus like, don't type it, write it, handwrite it. There's a release in that. And ultimately what you're doing, and I practice this in my relationship with Jesus, is I'm confessing that I'm feeling these things. And it doesn't mean that they're sins. It's just that if they're kept up inside me, I'm saying I'm still in control of this and I'm still trying to manage this versus, okay, here it is. I'm afraid of this thing. I'm afraid COVID-19 won't ever end. I'm afraid the kids won't go back to school in the fall. I'm afraid my dad's going to get it. I'm afraid. And I'm just, basically, this is meditation. This is prayer. This is me bringing this before the Lord. And as I release those things, there is freedom in that because it's casting our burden upon the Lord. And I think take the time to tell a friend, a trusted friend or family member or spouse, like have that moment of connection with them. Or if you're not in that situation, then write it out. Grab a pen and paper and sit with Jesus and lay it out before him. He's there to carry that. He's stronger than we are. And he himself is not afraid.
One of the things I love about Scripture is that you have real people crying out with real problems, and you see that all over the Psalms. You see that in Jeremiah's writings. Just like Lamentations chapter 3, you've got Jeremiah talking about how he feels like he's the target for God's arrows, and his prayers are walled in, and he's broken his teeth in the gravel, and he goes on and on and on, and you see this in so many of David's writings. And then he starts to see God's hand even in the midst of the suffering. Oh yeah, I remember, great is your faithfulness. Your mercies are new every morning. It is great to wait on the salvation of the Lord. And it also is very clear. A lot of Christians think that anger is a sin. Ephesians 4 makes it clear that it's not, when Paul says, in your anger, do not sin. So being able to understand and be aware of our anger and our anxiety, to try to be as clear as we possibly can, put it down on paper, or be clear with our counselor or our friend, and then beginning to try to see God's perspective.